cover him in too much glory. He was just sensational in practice, sensational in the qualifying, of course, just missing it. So you'll have him in the center of your screen, Lorenzo with the red number on the right, and Dani Pedrosa will be on the left in the nose shot. Next row back is his teammate Marquez. Looks close, but it's miles away, really. It is going to be a drag to the first corner, and they will get plenty of speed up before they get there. So it's a tight corner, a big break even from here. Ready for racing in Qatar, Steve. Revs are up. And they're away. Belting start there from Lorenzo. Not bad from Pedrosa. We'll see how it washes out in a second. Pedrosa now drawing alongside. Lorenzo's trying to make the best of it. And have a look at Dovizioso. Lorenzo's done it. Now that is just according to plan. Cal got dropped back a little bit there. Dovizioso mugged him and did a jolly good job. So Crutchlow's in there in fourth. Just see the
Rossi's
one spot. Rossi's up to fifth already. Told you.
Yeah, absolutely. But Jorge will be pleased about that, getting into that turn one in front of Dani Pedrosa. But how about that Dovizioso? And there's that nightmare for Valentino Rossi, the big Ducati, 0-4, number 4, but he's got 0-4 on the machine. And there he goes through. There's Marc Marquez we're looking at, and Bautista. So they've all got safely away that first corner, and a little bit wide there from Bradley. Bradley, of course, his first ever MotoGP start. He won't really know what's going on with the heat and the brakes and everything else.
Got to keep it on the black stuff, Steve. You'll see as soon as anybody goes a little bit offline, it's like racing through the mud flats. There's dust and spray and stuff all over the shop. Valentino Rossi looking comfortable at the moment, as you can see. He's picked up a spot on Cal Crutchlow there, just slid through nice and easily. So, as we know, Rossi has always raced even better than he's qualified. He's looking confident so far. He wants to run with the hounds, doesn't want to get dropped back, as we thought. Seventh didn't truly reflect his performance. But as you say, mate, he's got to get past that red thing just so he can sleep tonight.
He's having a go now. He's got it, Charlie.
Job done.
Oh, he's run wide.
Dovizioso comes back.
Oh, wowee. There's a little bit of friction there, isn't there? Now, Dovizioso's got back underneath him. Rossi went a bit wide. Cal Crutchlow will be a little annoyed about that because he wouldn't have wanted to be passed by Valentino Rossi. Yeah, he wouldn't have minded last year, but this year he wouldn't want it. Yeah, and if that Ducati starts backing things up a little bit, and this is a three-way scrap, you see, from the Ducati back to Cal, then 99 and Dani Pedrosa right behind him will clear off into the distance. But so far, Jorge Lorenzo is showing a clean pair of heels. Look at that. Head down and across the stripe for the first time, and it's Lorenzo leading by a country mile. Look at that. See that dust just by moving in towards the infield. Rossi makes a move. Can he make it stick? Oh, he's gone off the track. He's going off the track.
Overclubbed it. Just avoided the AstroTurf. Big sip of air from the boys in the Yamaha garage. Regroup. Let's do that again. He's in behind Bradle, Steve, so that puts him back there into seventh.
He did a good job not going onto the AstroTurf at that point. That was very, very wide. It's very slippery. He had to keep the brakes on and keep the bike lento. He did well to hang on that, but Valentino Rossi, that has really mucked things up for him. Cal Crutchlow will have been pleased to see that. He's now got the Ducati in front of him. Can he squeeze his way past it? The Ducati will have the legs down the straight, but Cal's quicker in the infield.
And relax.
Here he goes.
He's got it. Yes, he has. So, okay. Returning to normal order, if he can make that stick, this has really done well for Lorenzo, and so far at least Pedrosa's not being able to run with him. But the biggest problem for Cal is not the ego. Oh, no, poor old Carol Abram. Matt mentioned that he did like throwing bikes down the road before they were finished, and he started as he finished last year. Bad luck for Carroll, but he's fine. This is a fantastic start for Lorenzo. So far, at least, that Honda not being able to run with it, Steve. Bear in mind, of course, a lot of different boots they're using now, lots of different rubber from the things that we were practicing on when the track was so slippery. So everyone's getting their eye in. Yeah, and everyone's gone for the softer option rear tyre. We were thinking that one or two might gamble for the harder, but it seems as though the temperature's down enough and they're happy to run with that. There's Marc Marquez. Look at the way he leans off that bike. Keep a close eye on that 93 machine. Elbows on the floor and everything else. Cal Crutchlow now right all over the back. He's up the exhaust pipe of that Honda of number 26 there, Dani Pedrosa. Look at him having a quick look around if he can get his way through. Marquez the Honda. Yeah, he's gone through there, but Cal is all over the back now of that Honda, and the Honda will have the speed down the straight. This is where he's going to lose out. This is where the Honda, you can see it pulling away. Look, he's filled him in with dirt. Okay, Lorenzo 335, Pedrosa 339, Crutchlow 337. Not too much in it. But if Cal can possibly get his way past Dani Pedrosa before Pedrosa's teammate Marquez starts chomping on the back of his Yamaha, that will be a very big bonus for him indeed. Because so far, it is all going Jorge's way. Rossi's gradually getting himself back up. That's Stefan Bradl there, number 6, and Rossi's right on the back of him now after that mistake.
That was a couple of mistakes from Valentino. You could see how he's trying. He was desperate to get up there, wasn't he? He got himself right up there on the podium spot, but it all went wrong for him.
Look at this. Look at Crutchlow. He's having a big look. Can he get it stopped? Not quite. Once again, slightly on the dirty line there, but that was as good a look as you'll get. So close.
That is the issue.
I think that's it for this lap.
Yeah, that is the issue. We spoke about it earlier on, that narrow, dry line, well, dry line, grippy line. It is a little bit like a drying track. If you start running a fraction too wide, it's to the detriment of the grip. Cal trying everything he can. He's in the wash there, having another good old look, but he's not going to do it in turn one, in my opinion. That's the best place to try and do it if you can. You remember last year we saw him battling it with Dovizioso, and those brakes were glowing away, and we'll see that again later on in the race.
Yeah, he's just going to have to get out of turn 16 so neatly, and, you know, as you said, the Honda's got lots of squirt, and Danny Pedrosa is a squirt. So between the two of them, he's going to be very, very fast down the straight.
All over the back of him now. Is he going to have a dive up the inside here now? Legs are out everywhere. People keep asking, does it help? Yes, it does. It helps transfer the weight. It also keeps some of the weight over the back tyre of the bike. He's having a switch to the inside. But now Cal has got to really try and run through this final corner as fast as he can. Try and keep in the slipstream now.
That looked good.
Did look good, but the Honda has got the quick shifting system that the Yamaha doesn't have. It also seems to have a little bit more power.
93, watch this, Steve. He's trying to go the long way round. He's big under brakes, Marquez. It looks like he's got it. If he can get it stopped. Yeah,
that is the issue that they're going to have. The Honda does have the speed down the straight. You can race all day long with them, but it's so easy to pass down the straight.
It's a beautiful flowing set of corners, these. Through the first back section of the complex, Valentino Rossi now having to deal once again with Stefan Bradl, who's been ever so quick. He's been a hard man to get past, and he's going to be tough. Valentino at least is in front of Dovizioso, so he's not seeing red anymore.
Well, I'll tell you who he's going to see red in a minute, and that's Danny Pedrosa. If Marc Marquez starts trying to dive up the inside of him, he's supposed to be the junior rookie this year and not pass the senior team member. No doubt about it, this weekend Danny Pedrosa's had all sorts of issues. He started really quite slowly. He's gradually built up. Certainly from the first practices he was around about 7th or 8th place. He doesn't enjoy these type of conditions. The track is getting better. He's sliding that bike around a fair amount there now.
I think, by the way, just for good housekeeping, Starring crashed as well. I don't know if he was actually tangled up with Abram at that point, but we saw Abram down. Starring is out of that as well. So 22 runners now. Corti coming last at the minute. Bradley Smith in 11th in front of Ben Spies.
And I can also tell you that Marc Marquez has set the fastest lap of the race, a 1:55.445. That's not that far off the lap record, actually, which goes back to 2008, Casey Stoner. So that was 1:55.153. But so far, it's Marc Marquez has set the benchmark. There he is.
Marquez is a very fearless rider, and I don't think he'll show any respect for Danny Pedrosa's position. If he can get a shot of him, he certainly will. So let's see how they go down the straight. Marquez in the tow, speeds across the line.
Is he going to go for it? He's on the inside, Charlie.
Oh, not quite close enough. But once again, they're gapping Cal Crutchlow. The straight really counts for them. 3:40 for Pedrosa, 3:42 for Marquez, 3:32 for Crutchlow. That's what you're dealing with.
10 kilometres slower for the Yamaha down the straight. Now, the Yamaha just has that lovely tractable engine. It's good in the twisty bits. They seem to have got the electronics working out really well, but the Honda just seems to charge off those corners, and charging off of turn 16, you carry that speed all the way down the straight. Plus, both the riders, as you said earlier on, are tiny. They're probably 7 or 8, 9 kilos lighter than Cal Crutchlow.
Listen, doesn't that sound sensational? Stereo Honda.
I don't think Danny will be thinking that, hearing that bike behind him. But let's talk about Jorge Lorenzo. He is so smooth. He's riding that Yamaha so well. And this is going on. Valentino Rossi and the Ducati, the pesky Ducati, that horrible red thing that he didn't like last year. We've got to say that number 4 there, Dovizioso, is doing a really good job with it.
I think he covered himself with glory in qualifying, and given the forlorn position they found themselves in at the first test way back there in Sepang, he's done a fantastic job to keep pressing on, and fair play to him. That's the best qualifying that thing's had in a couple of years.
And
so Valentino is getting held up there by bike number 6, Stefan Bradl, and as long as that happens, he won't be comfortable. Bradley Smith's crashed out. I've got it on my lap board. I don't know where yet. That's too bad. rider okay, according to my lap board, so as soon as we see it, we'll let you know. But that's too bad. Bradley was running in 11th, and he's crashed out. That moves Ben Spieth up a point to 11th.
I've got a feeling that's turn 1 or 2. But anyway, unfortunately, yeah, running good there in 11th position, but he's probably just run a bit wide, got on that slippery stuff. Anyway, down over the line one more time. We've got 17 remaining. That gap at the front is 2 seconds.
I'll tell you what, though, the gap from Pedrosa to Marquez is not. It's 2/10. That's really, really tight.
There's Bradley.
Yeah, that's a long walk home.
Yeah,
he's fine. That's the main thing. He will be kicking himself. No need to say anything to him. He'll know. But he qualified well. It was a good job, and he had his closest times here to the front runners that he's ever had. Right, it got better and better and better until qualifying was sensational.
Yeah, but let's say first Grand Prix, you don't really know what to expect. You're trying to work out what's going to go on, what wears out when the fuel load gets lighter, all those type of things. You really can't simulate at all in testing. You can get out there and learn how to ride the motorcycle, but what actually goes on in the race is a completely different kettle of fish. But what can you say about Jorge Lorenzo? He has come out of the blocks so fast. I do think that Danny's probably going to get a little bit faster as the race goes on, because he just hasn't had a comfortable start to the weekend.
I think the turnkey to this race, Steve, was the relatively surprising thing of Lorenzo getting to turn 1 first. I honestly thought, and going according to form, it should have been Pedrosa in there first, but that really made the difference, because Danny could have held up Lorenzo for a whole lap, maybe more, before he got on terms with him. Okay, that was Cal getting very close to the back of Marquez, who outbraked himself a little bit there, and that would have got his tail up a bit. So that is why Crutchlow is all over the back of bike 93, the red-hot rookie Marc Marquez. These four are the class of the field at the minute, happily gapping Crutchlow, Bradl, Rossi, Dovizioso et al.
But you can see Valentino Rossi's getting rather frustrated now. He's doing everything he can, and of course, same as Crutchlow will have as soon as he gets on the straight, that bike of Bradl, which is a factory engine machine. The LCR team bike will be faster than the Yamaha down the straight. Now in a lap, when you Rossi has another.
Yeah, he gets gapped in the same manner that Cal Crutchlow does by the Hondas in front of him. But that is a really tight little gaggle, isn't it? Bautista is making up the rest of that force, and look at Rossi probing around, trying to find a way. If there's a bloke on the track with racecraft, it's him. Yeah,
and he's now, every time you can see the Honda jumps out the corner, and the trouble is you can make that up in the braking, but you need to be right on the back wheel in the braking zone to get through. Let's just talk Nicky Hayden not having a bad ride there. He's not far behind these guys. Fastest of the private, or the non-factory bikes, Randy Di Punio. He's in front of his teammate Spargaro.
Yeah, that's in
12th place.
That's not usual. That's good. Well done. Okay, so this is a fantastic scrap, and bear in mind, this is all the race for fourth. It's that tight. Bradl holds it at the moment. Rossi's right behind him, then Dovizioso, then Bautista. So you've got a great blend of bikes there as well.
Yeah, no doubt about it. But there is the view of Valentino Rossi.
Oh.
You can see Valentino wants to run through the corners quicker. The Honda kind of stops in the middle and has got the drive out of the corner. That's not necessarily horsepower. That's about the chassis. That's about grip. It's about engine management. Alex Briggs in there with his chewing gum, pleading and praying that number 46 bike's going to get through there. He wants to have a nice, easy, having an easier life this year. I certainly haven't seen him working so late in the evenings anyway.
No. I walked past them in the bar the other night on my way to bed early.
Of course.
There are the tyre options you mentioned, Steve. With these cool temps, I guess, particularly, it was prudent to stick with the softer rear.
Yeah, the only person that made a slight gamble is Bautista. He's gone for a softer front than anybody else.
Well, he's sticking with that. He's sticking with that battle of Bradl, Rossi, Dovizioso at the minute. So
that gap at the front, 2.7 seconds now. Valentino Rossi, you can see he's fast and he's good on the brakes, but all he's doing is making them turn. Look at those front carbon discs there, glowing away nicely. They've got the high density ones on, the ones with that stand the heat a little bit more. Everyone's fitted those this weekend. You have a choice of a high and a low density front disc.
It's a very big stop into turn one, isn't it? There are a few big breaks here, but that is a monster.
Oh,
we are through. Can we make it stick? Bradl tries to find a way back. He's probing, but he's done it. He mugged him. Nice work. Made it look easy. He had to wait a couple of laps, but it was a perfect spot to do it.
The only trouble is they've got a straight coming up shortly. He just needs to gap them a fair bit now. He's got to...
And get neatly out of that last turn, which is so critical.
Because otherwise, I think Bradl will get the slipstream and get back past him. If Bradl can stay with that Yamaha. Rossi's made a good move there, really got on the power nice and early. Well, it's just a lovely dive down the inside. He went offline, but managed to get the bike stopped. There was nowhere for Bradl to go. Perfect move down the inside, and what would you expect from the 9 times world champion?
Lorenzo now has a gap of 2.7 after only 7 laps. That is just stunning.
I can remember, I'm sure it isn't going to happen to Lorenzo because he hasn't suffered from it, but we had a similar situation last year with Casey Stone, and then he got arm pumped and everyone caught him up. So, let's have a look in a minute. We're going to find out if that Honda of Stefan Bradl has got the legs on the Yamaha down the straight.
You don't see a lead like that often, do you? So early in a race like this. There's plenty of racing going on, as you can see. Pedrosa, Marquez and Crutchlow, all 3 of them fighting for second place.
So Rossi's got a nice little gap on Stefan Bradl, so I think he's going to be able to hold it down this long kilometre straight. Cal Crutchlow again, look at those, look how heavy he is on the brakes there. So he's managed to do it. So Valentino Rossi, he's now got basically 3/4 of a lap to try and stretch that margin out, get away from Stefan Bradl.
Bike 29 there, Andrea Iannone on Ben Spies moving up behind Espargaro. Ben would expect to pass Espargaro, Ben being on a Pramac machine, of course, which is factory spec satellite bike. So he doesn't want to be doing battle with these guys, but he's between Espargaro and De Punier, the teammate. So he's got past one of them. They've had a switcheroo, that we haven't seen on screen, but nevertheless he needs to get shot of these guys and get further down the road. But I'd imagine he's pretty sore today, Steve, from that crash.
Oh, I think he is, but all he's got to do is he just follows one of the ART machines round from Espargaro there, just in front of Espargaro there on the 41 machine, and he'll have the speed down the straight.
Yeah, he will blitz them down the straight. But where the CRTs seem to be doing so much better is particularly in sectors 2 and 3, the fast-flowing stuff around the back here. Espargaro is wickedly fast, but they do lose it still in the straight.
Well, they're talking like 25 kilometres an hour difference on the CRT machine.
Oh, no, Bradl down. He ceded the point to Valentino Rossi. He was still running in 6, bike number 6. Let's see what happened to him.
I would imagine he's trying to keep up with him through the infield section. He's running wide.
Just too deep, lost the front.
Yeah, missed the line just by about a metre.
Dirty?
Yeah, just a dirty track, holding the front brake on, going into a corner. I suspect he was just trying to run it in there.
There is Mr. Cecchinello. It's his team. That was his bike that went firing down the road. That is disappointing to say the least, because he has shown so much promise across the start of this year, Bradl, that much more was expected of him. So anyway, early days.
Oh,
that was a major moment there. Yeah, it's shades of what Marquez did a couple of laps ago.
Yeah, that's
that'll be keeping Cal interested.
It will be. Cal's got a perfect position to watch that. He would have been hoping that Danny had run really wide and Marquez had followed him. But oh my goodness me, how did you see that? He was on the curb on the inside, the bike was sideways, 3rd gear corner at about 120 miles an hour, and he's just nailed it again. Didn't lose a single scrap of time.
Off he gets though. I mean, Marquez is code for plenty of colour and movement. It's the most extraordinary thing to watch.
We're going to get another
Here
shot.
We go, mate.
Just watch this through. It's another angle. Look at it. He's gone in too early. Maybe he couldn't see the line because Pedrosa was in it. Tips it in there. Just lets the thing slide across the curbing there that are rippled and just clings in there. Didn't lose any time whatsoever. I would think that Cal probably lost more time. He shut it off expecting to see an accident.
I don't think I've seen anyone climb off a bike this far since the days of Tony Elias. Remember, he almost left the machine entirely. Here are the speeds.
That was extraordinary what we just saw there.
Have a listen.
The growl. As I said, I'm sure that everyone's enjoying this at home and here, but not Danny Pedrosa, because you almost certainly know it's that young 20-year-old teammate of his that shouldn't be following him around now and looking like he's getting held up, actually. It is extraordinary, the Honda they're able to just nail the apex, pick the bike up, and it just drives off the corner so well. And as I say, that's a combination of lots of things, but generally engine management and a great chassis. As
they were in the old 990 days too. I think you'd agree the Honda the best sounding bike by a fair margin. Still running mufflers, of course, silencers to a degree on the Yamaha, so they're a much more dignified affair. Valentino Rossi in a comfortable 5th now, Steve, unchallenged.
Yeah, the only thing is, I was just about to say, his lap times are coming down now. He's got rid of Stefan Bradl, or Stefan Bradl's got rid of himself, and he's now got a 4-second gap back from Cal Crutchlow.
4 seconds, 12 laps, and he's at the moment.
This is not over yet. Look, Marquez
No.
is going to have a go, and this could be a tangle that Cal Crutchlow could benefit from.
Cal will be licking his lips, won't he? Thinking even if somebody outbreaks themselves, if it happens late enough, Cal could be very opportunistic and mug a place himself, because this is the battle for the podium here. These guys are 2nd, 3rd, and 4th on the road. So
what Cal has to be pleased about, he is running with the factory Hondas. Jorge is gone, we know that. He's gone by 3.9 seconds, nearly 4 seconds, but he is running with the full-on factory Hondas, and he is on a satellite bike, which Yamaha said, and he said, they haven't been able to upgrade. It's exactly the same bike as he ended up with at the end of last year. He is due, I think, at Le Mans to get some upgrades, but they're probably back at the factory right now seeing this performance and building those parts right now, because he deserves it.
Pre-season testing, people say so much of it means so little. But Cal did list one of his goals as being in front of Valentino this year, and at least 10 laps into this race, he's managed to do that. Here comes Valentino, though. We have 12 laps left of this, but at the moment, at least, the lap times between Cal and Valentino are virtually identical. And as you said, 4 seconds the gap, so we'll see what happens.
Look at this. Marquez tries one way and the other, and he's going to switch to the inside. Is he going to do it on the brakes here? Last time we saw...
Is he fainting this?
Well, yeah, Danny had a problem last time. He ran too wide. As he managed to... He has, again, just a touch.
He's trying hard. Do you think Marquez was just stalking him? Do you think he could actually get him yet?
I think he probably could. Right, let's look at the lap times now. Valentino Rossi's just put his fastest lap in. He's just lapped Charlie 4/10 faster than Cal Crutchlow. So Valentino Rossi, we maybe do have a bit of a race on. He's just done a 56.173.
Okay, so
there you can see him in the back.
Yeah, well, with 11 laps to go, that makes it mathematically possible if he starts to get his head down, because Cal Crutchlow is doing a sensational job hanging on to these boys, but he's also not racing his natural race. He's getting a bit of a toe down the straight, but for the rest of it, they're kind of sort of in his way at certain parts of the lap.
There's another shot there of Danny this time, getting the bike all tangled up. That all started and stemmed from going across the curbs on the inside. You can use the curbs, but it tends to upset the bike. It obviously opens the corner up and makes it a faster run through, but you've just got to gamble on how much it's going to upset the bike when you go over this.
Danny Pedrosa came 2nd last year. Lorenzo, of course, was your pole man who won this hands and heels last year. Stoner got a huge lead, you remember, and then it all evaporated with that arm pump. So
11 laps remaining. We are looking at the battle for 2nd, 3rd, 4th. Can Cal Crutchlow get on the podium? It's a long story, but if he does, I am a camel, I think.
We'll take that no further. It would appear that Marquez can place the bike absolutely where he wants. If anybody looks to be really pressing their machine hard out of that little trio, it's Danny Pedrosa. He's using curb and more to try to keep his teammate at bay, and he still has we're coming up to half race distance right now, really. 11 laps to go, and here they go. Danny is running a covering line. You'll see some dust and a little bit if they get too near the pit wall, moving right over to the pit wall to make Marquez have to go around the outside into turn 1. He's working as hard as he can. How's that gap?
Rossi has gone now. Rossi is really on the money now. 1:55.921. So another 5/10.
He's 2.5 seconds down the road from Cal Crutchlow with 10 laps to go. That is a headache.
And he's pulling it back at about ½ a second a lap.
Yep, it's okay. Now, here is Ben Spies, bike number 11, trying to deal with a CRT machine, bike number 41, bearing in mind that Ben Spies down the straight is 334 Ks and Espargaro is 315 Ks. So as you were saying, 20 Ks in it, 12 miles an hour in it, and he still couldn't get through. So that's how well those CRTs are handling.
Absolutely. Number 8 there, Hector Barbera, having a really good run. He's in 13th place, just behind Depunier. There's Yoni Hernandez, the other Paul Bird machine.
Yeah, it's fair to say in defence or in explanation of Mr. Laverty that they are completely different machines, aren't they?
Yeah, his is the bespoke built chassis in the UK by MSGP. Paul Bird has commissioned that chassis to be built. And so they're really trying to sort it all out.
Which is very exciting, I think.
Yeah, and of course, Michael Laverty is running the Morelli ignition system, not the Aprilia system, which is already sorted out. So there's a whole load of development going on there from Michael Laverty, and I think he's doing a pretty good job. He's got his lap times down. He's lapping at 2 minutes, as good as times as he was doing in practice.
And he's a very experienced rider, so in terms of sorting the bike, he'll be quite handy, even though he's new to this class.
Okay, 10 laps to go. Danny Pedrosa will not be enjoying this because he can hear all these bikes behind him. He probably won't know what order they're in, but he'll be getting pit boards, I'm sure, what's going on. But Valentino Rossi, that last lap, as I said, a 1:55.921. He was faster than Jorge Lorenzo last time around. So
watch that gap again between Crutchlow and Rossi. You can see it.
Rossi there.
Yeah. That's... it was the same that time around.
Yeah, he didn't make any time on that last lap. Whether he made a mistake, I don't really know, but he, because the last time before that was a 55, so he was himself 5/10 slower than he had been the lap before.
Cal Crutchlow will be aware of that on the lap board. Here's the start again, mate.
Okay, and normally you would expect Jorge to not get away as fast as Danny Pedrosa.
It was actually a cracking start from Bradley Smith too, by the by. He got beaten up into turn one a little bit, but he started beautifully. Yeah,
the problem for Bradley was that would be the first time he'd ever started off the grid. He wouldn't know what brake temperature was. Yeah, no, really good. Cal got chopped up a bit there by Dovizioso.
Yeah, Dovizioso did a great job. He moved right to the inside from the outside of the second row. You watch this, the red bike on the left of your screen. You watch the big lunge he makes into turn one. Across he comes.
Yeah. Always extremely tricky on the first corner, the first lap. Bautista gets nailed there at that point. Well, it's still going on here. Marquez, do you think he's thinking, I'm not sure if I should pass the boss today, maybe not the first race of the season?
I don't think he'd mind doing it, but he'd want to do it cleanly.
Remember, the second race we go to in Austin, Texas, in 2 weeks' time, he was the fastest man in the qualifying sessions, or the training sessions they had there, the 3 sessions that Honda went to and Yamaha went to, and Marquez dominated.
He blew them away, and that was quite an accurate litmus, really, wasn't it? Because that was a track that no one had been on. Poor old Petrucci, I don't know what's gone on there. I assume he's thrown it down the road. No, he's retired. It doesn't say crashed out, so he's broken it, or it's broken under him. That's a shame for them. 1 bike left, so
Cal again doing everything he can, trying to squeeze a little bit out of him in the braking zone to close it back up for the infield, but he does lose once again his speed. 3:36 plays 3:41 for Marquez.
I mean, Rossi as well, he's seen the rabbit, hasn't he? He's after this.
Wow, he's back in the 55s again.
I was just going to say, he's all over these boys now. He'll be getting very excited. He'll be doing the math. It'll be the fastest bit of arithmetic on the planet right now, and he'll be working it out. We've got a proper race on here.
And there'll be millions of fans out there just hoping he gets tangled up in this, because boy does he like a race. So Valentino Rossi, there he is.
Talk about a case of divided loyalty back home, mate. You've got people rooting for Cal Crutchlow, and of course half the planet rooting for Rossi. So,
well, Cal did say, and I said in that interview with him, I thought he'd be racing with Valentino Rossi a great deal this year, and I still think that a lot of tracks we go to, Rossi, imagine how ifs and buts don't count, but that mistake he made down at turn 1, he would have been with these boys all the way through here, probably even in front of them. But he is the only guy now, Valentino Rossi, who's sitting in 5th position. He's the only rider doing 155s now. Everyone else, even Jorge Lorenzo, has a 5.4 second lead, a 156.02. Valentino Rossi, 155.912.
Very interesting watching Cal Crutchlow, Steve. This year particularly, he's riding with such confident aggression, really consistent, pushing everybody else along. He just looks a made-up rider now.
Well, I would have thought if he'd have been right with these factory Hondas, he'd have been right near the front. I cannot believe the speed of Jorge Lorenzo on those first 5 or 6 laps.
And there will be an element with Pedrosa and Marquez, there'll be an element of them averaging their speeds down a bit, just by dint of slightly tripping each other up.
Cal Crutchlow will be, if he gets a chance to have a look, his pit board will be telling him that time coming down, and it's already right the way down now to about 1.5 seconds for Valentino Rossi. Rossi again at 1:55. That's very impressive. 1:55.9. He is really on it. There he is.
Yeah,
the second of the Yamaha.
Remember this bloke? He's leading the race by almost 6 seconds. It's a copybook performance.
Yeah, once again, Valentino Rossi, the only rider in the whole field with 7 laps to go, which is very, very impressive. Tyres have gone past their best.
Steve, don't forget as well, in a championship where these guys have 5 engines to last the whole year, Lorenzo with a 6-second lead, 5.581, can just roll it off and nurse it home. I mean, the less he wrings the neck of that Yamaha, the better it'll be. You want to win by the smallest possible margin with the new regulations.
Yeah, and he hasn't had any dust in that engine from anyone else's rear tyre either, has he? He's led the race from start to finish so far. It's not finished yet. We've still got 7 laps to go. Cal Crutchlow, you are shortly going to be joined by a factory Yamaha, ridden by a 9-times world champion.
Well, there's his dad.
We've got
Cal's dad about to let him know exactly what's going on.
Absolutely right. It's the last thing he wants to hear, because there's not much he can do about it, quite honestly. He seems to have tried to get past these Hondas. He's faster on the infield where it's really difficult to get past. It will be interesting to see what Rossi's got up his sleeve, if he's got a plan or where he's going to get through. Yeah, we've got 23 World Championships on this grid, 9 actual World Champions that have 23 World Championships. It's quite a classy field here today.
Yes, and a much bigger field, a deeper field than last year, 24 starters.
And we've already unfortunately lost Pradel, Smith, Starring and Abraham. They're out.
And Petrucci broke down.
Oh, look at this on the inside, Marquez. Is he going to get it stopped?
He is. He's made his move 6 laps
running in there fast. He's got it wide. He's just done it. Oh, interesting stuff. So Marquez, the young rookie, number 93, has gone through there, the 20-year-old.
Can he gap him now, Steve? That's going to be the interesting thing. Your hunch has got to be that he can.
Well, he did look like he was getting held up, didn't he?
We shall see. Rossi, but now it's a four-way battle. He thinks, thank you very much, ladies. This is great.
Rossi's last lap, sorry, Charlie, 55.756. Here we go. He goes to the inside, gets on the brake, and actually really ran in there quite hot, but managed to stop it before he got on the dirty part of the track. He was probably a metre wide, but it didn't matter. Got the grip, got it driven around there.
Steve, you were talking about the practice when they were down at Jerez, even the speed and the angle with which Marquez would tip the bike in, even when the rear wheel was still off the ground. He can bundle it in with such pace.
We saw earlier on where he went across the curbs, the whole thing slid out from underneath him, as it is doing there now. Look at the way he turns it on, just shifts his body weight around. That is about 1/3 of the weight. The body is the ballast that moves around, and Marquez moves his body around more than anybody I've ever seen.
He's got to keep it on the island, that's all.
Rossi now probing right behind Cal Crutchlow. Again, as I said last time, a 55.756. That is an exceptional lap time from Valentino Rossi. He has lost nothing of his speed or determination, it seems. He's got some work cut out with Jorge Lorenzo out the front there, the speed that he's running at. So what can Rossi do? Rossi should have a tiny bit of speed, I would have said, on Cal Crutchlow down the straight. Depends on how they get out of turn 16. We're going to find out in a minute.
Yeah, he won't want to stick his nose down the inside at 16 because he'll lose too much momentum. Cal needs to get out of here perfectly cleanly, and it looked a little bit deep there, actually.
He missed the apex.
Yeah, it looked way too deep. So now he's gone to the inside to defend. Rossi is right up his exhaust pipe, out the side by side. Look at the dust. Rossi's carrying the speed. Will Cal have to give best? It looks that way. Can Rossi get it?
Run straight on. He's gone straight on.
Nightmare. Cal is just so focused on trying to keep him out. Okay, he's recovered. He hasn't lost a place other than that which he conceded to Rossi. He'll be kicking himself. Let's regroup and get going again.
What happened there? Cal just ran out a little bit too wide. I tell you, trying to put the brakes on one of these at 210 miles an hour is hard enough, but he ran out and got on the paint. Look, he gets on the paint. He can't brake. At that point, he had to let the brakes off. No chance of getting it stopped. Straight across the top there.
Those big pieces of the tarmac really do help. Once you get in the kitty litter, it's another matter entirely. But Rossi thinks, okay, well, that's job done. There's one spot left here and I can get a podium. If he gets past Pedrosa, Pedrosa will be beside himself. Pedrosa needs the defense of the straight to use the horsepower. It'll be interesting to see the lap times that Rossi can manage. Now he's right behind these Hondas where Cal was.
Yeah, you would say that his tyres would be worn more, wouldn't you? I mean, he's the one that's come all the way back, and you can see, look how hard he's working. Yeah. Valentino Rossi is back in the top spot. He's back on the Yamaha that he loved and he won so many championships with.
Now there's a little moment, yeah. But Steve, that pass for Rossi over Cal Crutchlow actually started in turn 16, the end of the previous lap, where Cal overclubbed it and was just too slow out of that corner, only by a fraction, but it was just enough.
He just missed the apex there. Would have had to kept the bike length over more, wouldn't have been able to get on the power early enough. Valentino Rossi just about took all the pit boards out when he went down the inside there, chucking dirt and dust everywhere. There you can see where the difference is on track. This is Jorge Lorenzo we're riding with. The blue dot is him. The orange dot, of course, is it's Marc Marquez now in second place. Marc Marquez's last lap was 4/10 faster than Danny Pedrosa's.
Yeah, there is the gap. He's half a straight away. He's got 6 seconds, basically, the thick end of 4 laps left. So for Lorenzo, he's just got to cruise. They are happy about this.
Oh, Marquez gets on the paint, and is he going to get it stopped? He gets on the paint and doesn't bother.
No, he's it's a rather agricultural line he sometimes runs, but he's terribly fast. We know that.
To me, Charlie, it's stoner type lines. It's plenty of paint, plenty of curves wherever it's necessary.
Yeah.
Okay.
Pedrosa is being held up a little now. You can tell that, and he really senses the pressure he's got from Rossi. He'll hear that. So the last thing he wants. Oh, that's how hard Pedrosa's trying.
Rossi will have seen that. The doctor's in the house right now, and he's going to have a go, I reckon, on the inside as we come up to the next corner. He's got a good run out of here. Is he going to about dive up the inside on this one?
No,
not quite.
He's just got that shut. He's got to keep it neat and tidy. Danny Pedrosa. Rossi is probing away. He will be loving this. Absolutely relishing being in a race again with the guys at the point again. Danny Pedrosa is riding this thing so hard. Rossi's making a big lunge down the inside, and he makes it stick. Now, Pedrosa must stay close. Big applause from those boys, understandably. If he can respond, it'll be down the straight, Steve.
Yeah, I'm pretty certain that Pedrosa will have the speed down the straight, and I think he'll be able to get past. But try and outbrake out Valentino Rossi on a bike that he's happy with will take some doing as well. But he's got to be right on his back wheel when they get to turn 16, the final corner. He's got to run through these fast rights.
Oh, if Rossi gets past Yamaha 1-2 wouldn't have been what anybody planned today. That would be really something.
Absolutely not. So Valentino will hold back a little bit, get the run out of here, do everything he can, get that M1 wound up. Marquez gets a bit of a wheelie. We can see he jumped out the corner there. Now, Danny Pedrosa, is he going to get in the slipstream? Rossi's in the slipstream, surely not.
No, he's so late under brakes, Marquez. He could make a mistake. Rossi could force him into one, but he had that covered simply by dint of how wildly late he left the braking. Danny Pedrosa is getting dropped off just a little, as you can tell. There's Marquez, you're riding with Rossi.
He's got tyre issues, I'm sure. Marquez is all over the place now. Rossi seems to have bet, and he's
done him. He's done him. Straight through we go. Marquez, can he cut back? No room for that. The doctor's way too neat. No, he's got it tightened up there. Marquez will have to be right back with him, and that's a long way to go to get to turn 16.
I've got to say, I'm very, very pleased to see this. I'm quite shocked. I really didn't think Valentino was going to come back from that, but he's just shown his class here today.
Oh, yeah,
he's just got faster and faster. It is tremendous to see. There's the move down the inside.
There. Yeah, he was a little bit wide, Marquez.
Yeah, but Rossi seems to be able to just stick the Yamaha where he wants to. Look at Brent. Just can't believe what they're seeing. It has just cheered them up as much as it has everyone else around the world, including me. Jorge Lorenzo now 7 seconds with 3 laps remaining.
A Yamaha 1-2, if that's what we finish up with here today, will be the least expected result out there. It's just sensational. Rossi gave a great deal of hope in some of the tests, then it drifted away in other of the tests, but his happiness was obvious from the get-go as soon as he got back on this bike.
And he's far too old and wise to realise that there's no point for practice testing. Certainly not winter testing.
It's his racecraft, as we said at the top of the show. He always races better than he qualifies.
And the crowd
now
are
he's got to hold
wide.
the line, though. Marquez will have squirt down the straight, but Valentino's got the inside, so Marquez will have to do it the hard way if he's going to do it, and he's even got to try to get it stopped. Rossi's got the line. Marquez will want to go on the inside.
Where did that come from?
I don't know. That looked
Marquez hasn't worked this one out, has he? You're not supposed to do that. Little Jarvis is having kittens there. Marquez hasn't worked this out.
That looked like Rossi absolutely had that stopped.
Yeah, he did. Well, he did. He had the corner sorted all the way out. He's having a look at the inside.
He's coming back again.
Oh, this is what we've missed so much. Valentino Rossi, racer, true out-and-out racer. Doesn't give up anywhere, just has a little dab down the inside, has a go, leg comes out. Marc Marquez hasn't worked it out yet. He's still a racer. We saw him in Moto2 last year, some of the outrageous moves that went on. He's not done with yet, I don't think.
No, Mark, I mean, those guys don't take prisoners in Moto2. Bradley Smith knows that, Marquez knows that.
Look at
these guys, yeah, I know.
Cut the air, couldn't you? If you could somehow...
Need a defibrillator down in that Yamaha pit, I'll tell you what. Okay. After the end of this, we'll be on the last lap. If Rossi can fend off down the straight and stop Marquez, he's in with a shout, a very good shout of second place.
Intoxicating.
And, oh God, okay, come on. This is a belting race from go to O. Cal Crutchlow, by the way.
I can't even work out what to put on the pit board now. I don't think they need to put anything on there because he can see. Marc Marquez knows exactly what's going on. He's looking up the rear end of the doctor.
Crutchlow's still circulating in 5th, and that's not under threat, so it's disappointing for him, but top 6 finish was his minimum. Back across the stripe for the last time. An inch-perfect performance by this guy. We are now last lap. He crosses the line, so far ahead of these guys. Now, Rossi's done well, but Marquez is carrying speed. Now, he's taking a different approach. Rossi turned in much later then and got the door shut.
Yeah, he did. He doesn't need to be stuffed up the inside more than once to know exactly what's going on. He's got the racecraft. Right, we have now about 3 miles to go. We've got lots of twisty bits, and then we've got quite a long run down to the finishing line. If Marc Marquez can get the run out of turn 16, could possibly do it, but I doubt very much. Valentino Rossi will probably stop him in the middle of the corner if he knows he's close enough.
And as you said, if anybody's out of tyres, it is Marquez. The bike does seem to be moving a lot.
Valentino Rossi, this would go into being his 80th win. It would be his 80th win. He's got 79 wins, and that's going to come very, very shortly.
Dani Pedrosa has been broken by this, and that will ruin his confidence. He's going to have to really concentrate very hard, and he knows he's going to attract that Marquez has been sensational on. Next time out, 2 weeks from now, we're in Austin, Texas. So that's a big headache for Dani Pedrosa. This is his best shot this year. And Lorenzo is looking absolutely supreme.
Well, I'm worn out. I don't know if these guys are. Here we go. Rossi's got a bit of a buffer there. That's a couple of bike lengths there. Marc Marquez, surely it's clear. He's got this sorted out. A 1-2 from Yamaha. Who would have thought it? We might have thought it at the start of testing. Then Rossi didn't gel quite as well as he was expected to. Certainly didn't in Texas when he went there. And he hasn't done this weekend. He had a kind of a bit of a mixed-up qualifying session. He got run wide, missed one of his laps. But he's got the points. He's got 20 points in the bag. If he gets it round this corner and gets it down to the finishing line, there's go. 25 points for him.
Okay, Lorenzo across the line, wins in Qatar, just as he did last year. Pole position in the win. And Valentino Rossi takes 2nd place ahead of Marquez. Pedrosa 4, a Yamaha 1-2. Beat that.
Cal Crutchlow.
Nice work. One mistake. That was all. Recovered. Still very useful points. 5th place. And Bautista across the line in 6th, Dovizioso 7, and Nicky Hayden 8. That's very encouraging for Nicky that he hasn't been blown away by Dovizioso, who's done a good job on that Ducati. And the next Ducati in line, Iannone. Nice work from him inside the top 10. And Ben Spies way down the track there, coming in, his teammate. So there you go. Andrea Iannone and then Ben Spies. That's your lot. Then lead, for how many times has the lead CRT been Espargaro? Yet again. And then his teammate Randy DePunier right behind. So ifs and buts don't count, and being able to race, Valentino hasn't forgotten.
No, nor's this guy, has he?
No, well, he didn't have to do much, did he? Just got the first turn first and then just kept it neat. It was absolutely immaculate. Look at all that dust when you're not online. He will be delighted and relieved. But he'll also have a moment to think, well, if Valentino hadn't qualified 7th, and if he hadn't had all that work to do, would I have had a headache? Valentino Rossi lapped faster than Jorge Lorenzo for many, many laps.
And,
Eugene Laverty there, just outside the points, but a finish in 17th.
Yeah,
well done, son.
Yeah, Michael did a good job there.
Michael, sorry, that's your brother.
Valentino Rossi. Right, he's out of fuel, is he, or what's he doing? Yeah, I think he probably is. He's obviously been wringing the neck of that M1. I suspect that that's out of fuel. We know that they've just got 21 litres. There's the replay there.
That'll get some pause for thought, won't it? Points to Marc Marquez, saw off his teammate, and he did race the wheels off Rossi, didn't he? He gave it everything he did, everything he could.
Still, the Yamaha just seems to be the most agile bike on the circuit, able to be put wherever it wants. Might not be the fastest, and that move there was pretty audacious. He didn't leave him more than about a metre there. Marc Marquez just squeezed through there. For sure, a star of the future. The number 93 there, just 20 years old. Yeah,
absolutely fearless riding. Rossi getting a lift home from Andrea Iannone on the Pramac Ducati.
Looking to fold down those back footrests.
Who'd have thought he'd ever be on a Ducati again? But there you go, he's getting a lift back on one. How about that?
Yeah, obviously they're still mates. Yeah, he just can't quite get his feet on the footrest there. So, yeah, that's pretty tight from the fuel point of view. I suspect that Jorge's got plenty of fuel left because he buttoned it off in the last 10 laps, really.
Yeah, Valentino was racing all the way through. I think two things we didn't expect, Steve. Number one, a Yamaha 1-2, but secondly, Pedrosa off the podium.
No, I didn't. I really thought Pedrosa was going to get it together. He just didn't start off this weekend very well. I'm not discounting him. I've got him down as winning the championship, but I might be changing my tune shortly. But I think by the time we get back to Europe, that Honda seems to be working pretty well on the what I call the shorter, more European type tracks. But he'll be very, very unhappy about that.
Yeah,
being beaten by his new teammate.
He does not want to be a bridesmaid again. Nice work, Lorenzo. You made it look easy, old buddy. The key for him was turn 1 first.
Yeah, it was. Absolutely.
And Marc Marquez, that's not a bad debut, is it?
No.
Where'd you finish? Oh, just a podium.
Yeah, just a podium. Second, yeah, 3rd place.
He's a happy lad. And as we saw, fearless.
Must be annoying for the other guys, though. His first Grand Prix, 20 years old, just steps up into the elite class and gets straight on the podium. But we knew that he would be a force to be reckoned this year. Feel sorry for Cal Crutchlow, because I think he would have been in that little fight there a little bit more, but that was just the way it was. He just got in there a bit hot, got up on the curbing.
And although those Hondas had the speed, having them in front of him like that put him off his natural race. It did spoil his rhythm. There can't be any doubt of that.
Yamaha want him coming back on a Ducati.
No, but never mind. He got back. There's Cal.
Yeah, thought he'd be a bit
one little error, but a good recovery. I know we won't be happy with it. But there you go. Well ridden. He qualified in the middle of the front row. That was a big job, and he's at the pointy end all weekend. That's what Cal needs to know, that he is, when all the testing's done, he is a serious front runner now.
Valentino Rossi, who would expect to see him so excited for second, but he is. And
this will be one of the happiest results of his life, mate, even though it's not a win. It's just a belting result.
And I know
he's crowd like that. Let's have a listen.
Yeah, I know he's been training because I saw him in the gym when I was in the gym. I didn't see you there, Charlie.
I don't need the gym. Listen, Rossi. Grandstand. All chanting.
Yeah, an awful lot of relieved faces around from Yamaha, and as you rightly said, Charlie, it's just lovely to know that you've still got it.
Yeah.
Because you don't until you've done it.
That's why I'm not going to the gym. Just in case I'm disappointed.
In case you've forgotten how to do it. In case something breaks.
There's Alicia Spargaro. Great work from him. Made it into the top qualifying, finishing 11th. Belting job. Alvaro Batista made a top 6 finish in 6th place on the Grassini Honda. Yeah, that's about right. They did keep going round and round, but he was 22 seconds behind the race winner. And
soft front tyre, he chose it. He's just saying the front.
It was a gambler's throw, wasn't it? He wasn't in a spectacular grid position, Steve. He was 8th, so worth a try.
Yeah, a debrief going on there from Muccio, his buddy. That's another 6 million bits of merchandising sold.
Yeah, job done. Ka-ching, ka-ching. So let's recap those results. Just sit down and be calm about this. Yamaha 1-2, Lorenzo and Rossi. Marc Marquez beating Dani Pedrosa, but the man of the moment by a country mile, Jorge Lorenzo. What a job.
Jorge, congratulations. It was important to make a good start, and you made the perfect one.
Thank you very much. I'm very pleased with this victory because I knew it was very complicated to go away because Dani seems very strong and also Cal. But finally, I could go away in the 10th lap, more or less, because at the beginning I struggled so much. And I'm very happy also because Valentino came back in the 2nd place. I think it's good for Yamaha. Congratulations.
Perfetto, bravo Jorge, bravo, grande gara. Bravo.
So it's a perfect result for Yamaha. So now we have to celebrate it very much.
Go celebrate. Congratulations.
Thank you, thank you.
I don't know if he's really happy, but
no.
He's very diplomatic.
Yeah, he said it's good for Yamaha, which it is.
Yeah, no question of that. Absolutely no question of that. And the Yamaha boys are delighted all round. It is an absolute triumph for them and a vindication of their decision to back Valentino, in fairness.
Sure, very much so. I can imagine that JB might be having a pint tonight.
You've got to stop thinking about bars. Why don't you go to the gym? Valentino Rossi, he's delighted and surprised to be there. A big hug for Marquez. I feel sorry for Dani Pedrosa because if there is a big 3 in this championship, it is Lorenzo, Pedrosa and Rossi. They are the big end of town, with Cal coming through, of course, and now very much a part of that. But early days. Spare a thought, but Bradley Smith threw it down the road quite early. So let's have a look at that Riders' Championship. It's the same as the race result, of course, so it gives me another stab at it. Pedrosa, Crutchlow and Batista, that was your second 3. Then Dovizioso, Nicky Hayden and Iannone all on Ducatis. Very pleased and relief for Nicky Hayden that he wasn't blown to the weeds by his teammate, and congratulations to Dovizioso. His manager told me before this race he was 7th in the warm-up, but he said, we think that's about the race pace, and Nostradamus, like he was right. Spies made it into the top 10. Marc Marquez, you'll be seeing him again, has he?
Marc, congratulations. What a sensational debut.
Yeah, I'm really happy to start the season with a podium I didn't expect before the race, but you know, I saw yesterday that the qualifying was not so good, but I saw that Jorge have a very good pace. But if just I try to push to be with Dani and Valentino, and just I try to did a very good first laps, and in the end I think we have a very great battle with Valentino. It was so nice to be with him, and in the end he won. I think it's normal, he have more experience, but I did my best. So step by step, I think we need to improve, but you know, for the first race in MotoGP, it's not so bad.
Absolutely sensational. Congratulations.
Thank you.
How about that, Steve? Him racing his hero.
Yeah,
because Rossi is his #1 hero.
Yeah, I know he's got posters all around his bedroom wall, apparently, and there he was diving up the inside of him at turn 1. Very impressive.
Yeah, and you know, brave and pretty clean as well. Firm but clean.
Yeah. So
he looks pretty relaxed. A pair of Spaniards there.
Of course, he's 2 times world champion, 125 world champion in 2010, Moto2 2012.
And
so
Moto2, I mean, they are proper axe murderers, aren't they? That is tough old racing.
Yeah, Valentino Rossi is back in the house, which is great news for all the fans around the world.
Yeah, and I think as well, Cal Crutchlow did such a good job. You were talking before about him getting his parts supply and maybe not getting any new bits until Le Mans. Yamaha will be buoyed by what has happened today, and it may actually spur them on to get the bits down there a bit quicker to Cal, because he's very much a part of this.
Yeah, you'd have to think so. Yeah, he was in there mixing it with those bikes, and really the mistake came from just trying to keep up the pace that he was losing down the straights there. And wherever we go, the Yamaha, I don't think is going to be as fast as Honda, but if they've got the agility, you've got to remember that a lot of the tracks we go to have got no long straights. Time we get to Jerez and down to Le Mans and places like that, Sachsenring, really it's not anything about power or speed, it's just agility. So
yeah, and actually, yeah, Le Mans is a great example of that. What a fiddly, nadgery little place that is, but agility really comes into its own. Nicky Hayden there scratching his head, but you know, he'll be relieved he didn't get blown to the weeds, I think, in the effort. And if he and Dovizioso can share some good data together, because they're both experienced hands, Nicky a world champion, it'll be in MotoGP, it'll be very, very useful indeed. But there's a youngster I think we should keep an eye out for. I think he's got some promise, has he?
Valentino, the doctor is back. How much did you enjoy that? That's the kind of racing we've been missing from you.
Yeah, yes, it's true. I mean, was great. It was a great fun. I think that anyway, the second place is the best position for me today, because Jorge was perfect. But I can do in a lot more easy way if I didn't do the mistake at the beginning with Pedrosa. And after I lose time with Bradel and the other guys go, but I won the podium. This was my target. I try. My rhythm was very good. The bike was fantastic. And at the end, great battle, especially with Mark. And I'm so happy because this was my target, to arrive here on the podium already from November of last year. And I think that we can enjoy this season.
We loved it. Great. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I don't think I've ever heard him happier.
No, I don't think I have actually. But you know, when you have a nightmare couple of years, you really lose some of the trust in your own ability. And Valentino said he was just very much hoping that he could get himself on the podium. That's exactly what he did. But he did it in style, exactly as he said. He dropped back about 8 seconds back, 9 seconds, and came all the way back through.
They had to battle with some proper hard charges, didn't he?
He's lost his bike. We know where that is. It's parked in the gravel round the back.
Yes, that's true. Yeah. But upright, we're very, very happy to report. So it'll be absolute celebrations, a go-go in the Yamaha squad. Jeremy Burgess and his team will be absolutely vindicated in their faith in their charge that they've stuck with all of those years, even through the tough Ducati years. So, Matt, I don't know how to wrap this up. It was just huge beyond belief, wasn't it?
Really was. We wondered if he still had it, didn't we? But that's our answer. What a season it's going to be from now on. Round 2 is in 2 weeks' time. From the Middle East, we go to the Wild West. It's Austin, Texas, and you can join us on BBC 3 for that one. Once again, it's 7:30 in the evening, as I said, 2 weeks tonight. Jorge Lorenzo was in a league of his own here in Qatar tonight, but it was that bright yellow of Valentino Rossi that really lit up the desert. Good night.
Microphone. Dani. Marc. Marc. Si podem passar? Marc. You first, please. First, yes. Your page you can go to.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Commercial Bank Grand Prix of Qatar MotoGP podium ceremony. The podium ceremony MotoGP يتقدم سيد ناصر بن خليفة العطية رئيس الاتحاد القطري will hand over the winning constructor trophy to Takashi Moriyama from Yamaha Factory Racing. Mr. Deputy CEO of Commercial Bank, Said Abdullah Raisi, will hand over the third place trophy to Marc Marquez. Sayyid Nasser bin Khalifa Al-Atiyya, رئيس الاتحاد القطري, will hand over the second place trophy to Valentino Rossi. And now we come from the winner for the MotoGP, سعادة الشيخ محمد بن فهد الثاني وزير الدولة, will hand over the winner trophy to Jorge Lorenzo. And now, ladies and gentlemen, please stand up for the national anthem of Spain. Congratulations for the winner MotoGP, Jorge Lorenzo. See you next year.